Chicago's visual artists may already be familiar with the nonprofit organization LATITUDE Chicago. The organization hosts an accessible digital photo processing and development laboratory in Westtown, which is where I am today. This past March, the organization turned 10, and to celebrate, they're hosting a photography exhibition at the Chicago Art Department, curated by Asha Iman Veal. So I stopped by to check it out.
I'm Associate Curator at the Museum of Contemporary Photography here in Chicago. So part of that role not only entails doing shows and exhibitions at my home institution, but also at places around the city as a guest. So she's actually thinking about modernism and architecture, and you can see she's like physically...
Asha's been a curator here in Chicago for a little while, so I know her through the School of the Art Institute connections, as well as the Museum of Contemporary Photography. LATITUDE was founded with a lot of photographic roots, and so it made sense to work with a curator who has photographic roots as well.
For the past decade, LATITUDE has been helping students, hobbyists, and professionals print, process, scan, and document their work. The studio has become a hub in the Chicago photography scene by way of how accessible their space and resources are made to be.
You can come in, pay the membership fee, sit at a desk and use the Adobe products. You can use the scanners to scan film or your family archives. And then we have additional equipment like printers, as well as documentation for artworks. And then the space you see here is really offered us through donations. So a lot of the technology comes from local schools. Otherwise, a lot of the technology that's featured here is very expensive. And so by having it donated, by having someone who knows how to fix that tech and share that knowledge, we've been able to build over these past 10 years as well.
The anniversary show was curated around the community at LATITUDE. Asha says she really focused on capturing the spirit of everyone who makes the space a unique haven for artists of all levels.
You have people that have been in the game for 30 years, maybe 5 or 10 years, and they're all there as part of the community and using the facilities. So you have Guggenheim Award winners, you have people that are shooting for Vogue magazine, next to people that are maybe coming out of undergrad or grad school or anywhere in between. I think with curatorial projects and exhibitions, it can always be different, but this was really about latitude. So it was less a thematic show and really just who can we show off from the community. So it makes people understand that LATITUDE in the community, it's not just one place, but it's really the whole city they're reaching. And hopefully we can kind of do that through the arrangement of the works. It's fun with the scale, and again, you were just asking about composition. So for people to kind of appreciate each work, something this large, is next to something this small, this kind of a quiet moment. So that's kind of how we were working with different artists sharing the same space.
It can be someone who's new to their career, not necessarily seeing it as a career, but as a passion, all the way through to people who are quote unquote making it in our industry. And I think that's a microcosm of what LATITUDE does. We want to make sure the tools are accessible to anybody who's interested in making images, not only photographic, but graphic design, really anything. You don't have to be a photographer to be here. We're hoping to be welcome to anyone who just has questions. That if someone is not sure about a thing, they could give us a call, and we're happy to impart whatever we know. Especially if it's something we don't have.
I think it can be so interesting the way that artist careers are oftentimes very self-propelled. You don't necessarily go into a place where all the resources are there for you. You have to seek them out. And LATITUDE actually provides that space in terms of equipment, but also that community for people.
The installation will be up until late December, and you can visit the Chicago Art Department website for their hours, as well as other community events that they're putting on. I'm Jamaica Ponder for CBS News Chicago.